Hey, Andy here from Andy's Golf Blog. Now, for several years I have been using ShotScope golf watches, and for the last 18 months I have been using the ShotScope V3 like this one. Now, I have learned quite a lot about what you can do with the watch to make it work more effectively and more efficiently, and I've also noticed some of the pitfalls that new users especially have fallen into, which has led them to perhaps not have the best experience with the watch. So I've decided to make this video to give you, especially you as new users, 10 of my top tips to ensure that when you first get your hands on one of these, you have the best experience possible. Now, of course, if you're an existing user but you're maybe having some difficulties with the watch, then hopefully some of the tips that you hear in this video will be useful to you also. If you're not familiar with my other videos, you're welcome to go to my YouTube channel and check them out. And I've also got my website at andysgolfblog.co.uk where I've plenty of golf videos, review videos and informative videos for products like the ShotScope V3, so please do check them out. If you find this video useful, please do give it a like and feel free to comment below if there's any of the top tips that perhaps I've missed and you think would be useful to other viewers, or if you just want to discuss anything to do with the ShotScope V3, feel free to comment in the comments area below. Now, let me tell you 10 things that you can do when you first get a ShotScope V3 to ensure that it works as best as it should for you. Okay, tip number 1, read the instruction manual. Now, I'm not going to lie, I don't usually read manuals for most things. Most things in life you don't need a manual for. The ShotScope is one of these things that actually I think you can really benefit from reading the user guide. You'll see here the manual that comes with the device. It's very short, it's very colourful, it's very well illustrated, and they give you some top tips down the side here, some of which I'll cover in this video. But essentially what you want to do is you want to read through this guide, but you also want to look at their Getting Started guide on their web pages. It's got nice clickable links and it's got a lot more detailed information. It also links you to the main user guide where there's really good advice and step-by-step instructions for getting correctly set up and using your ShotScope device, and they're especially useful for those of us who have just got our hands on the product. Okay, tip number 2. Make sure you've fully charged the watch before you go to the golf course. And actually, you should give it a full charge before you even do anything with the app and trying to connect to the app. The watch itself will come with a relatively small amount of charge in it. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to power it up and then for it to run out during the onboarding process or the setup process. So make sure you take it out, plug it in and give it time to have a full charge. Number 3, make sure you update to the latest firmware version. Sometimes watches may be shipped with an older firmware. They may have been sitting in pro shops or in the factory and warehouses, and what you want to do is you want to ensure that you are on the latest version of the firmware. It's very much like mobile phones. The ShotScope team will release updates, bug fixes, things like that via firmware updates. So what you essentially do is you connect your device to the mobile app and it will allow you to update the device to the latest firmware. So if you want to know what the latest version is, you can go onto the ShotScope website and they'll be able to tell you that there. You can contact support, or if you go into the app, you'll be able to see when you connect your watch to the app if there is an update required. If there is, make sure you go through and update the watch to the latest firmware version. Okay, number 4. Now, although the watch comes preloaded with 35,000 golf courses, you may find that your course has been updated. It could be something has been remapped, maybe perhaps requested by another user at your course. It could be that some changes have been made. So by going into the app and checking out the course list and subscribing to your course, not only will you be able at that point to see if the latest version is available for that course or an updated version, but also you'll be able to subscribe to then be notified if any changes have been made to your course and if in the future you need to update the course map. So go into your course list, search for your course and make sure that you subscribe, and if it tells you to, make sure you perform the update for that course. Tip number 5, make sure you install the tags to the right clubs, but also assign them in the My Bag section of the app or the dashboard. So as you'll know, your ShotScope V3 will come with 16 tags, so there's enough there for each of your clubs and there's a couple of spare. It's not rocket science, but each tag will have the relevant club on them. And you'll basically take, for example, the 7i, so the 7 iron, you'll take that and you'll screw it into the top of your grip on your 7 iron. You'll do that for all of your clubs, including your putter. And the key here is to make sure that you put the P tag for the putter only into your putter. No other tags will work with the putter. Okay, so if you don't use the putter tag in your putter, then it's not going to collect those strokes. The second step is, once you've installed the tags, don't just go down to the golf course and expect it to be able to pick them up. You need to go into the app or into the dashboard within your account, having obviously already created your account, and you need to assign the tags to the correct clubs in your bag. So again, using the 7 iron as an example, you would locate the 7 iron tag in the My Bag section of the dashboard. You would then assign the make and model of your club to that particular tag, and then you would move that across into your bag so that club and that tag is technically in play. So that must be done before you go out and try to use the ShotScope V3 for the first time. Tip number 6, ensure that you wear the watch on the correct wrist. So I am a right-handed golfer. I'm going to wear the watch on my left wrist. So you'll see here I've got the club here, it's on my left wrist, and the tag is in close proximity to the strap. If you are a left-handed golfer, then you will want to be wearing the watch on your right wrist. Of course, during the setup process, you'll be asked to ensure that you select whether you are a right-handed or a left-handed golfer. So of course, make sure you pick the right one at that stage. If you made a mistake, you can always go into the settings on the watch and you can switch it round. So if you're a right-handed golfer, wear it on your left wrist. If you're a left-handed golfer, wear it on your right wrist. Okay, tip number 7, make sure you turn the watch on as soon as you arrive at your golf club. I've learned this one the hard way, because there are a few times where I've turned up to play, I've switched it on the first tee, and it's not managed to connect to my golf course by the time that I've maybe got to like the second or third hole. Sometimes it can be a little bit delayed. So my advice and what I do now is, as I walk down or drive down to the golf course, I immediately switch the watch on as I arrive, give it enough time to be able to set itself up to locate the satellites and to let me enter the right mode before I even get to the first tee. What you can do is you can press and hold the main button at the top left, I believe, and you can pause the watch whilst you're making your practice swings, doing some putting or doing some chipping. Just remember to resume play before you tee off, but setting it up before you start your round makes it much easier and gives it more time to ensure that it's ready for you when you hit the first tee. Okay, so this one, number 8, is take more practice swings. This one is explicitly stated in the instruction manual, but of course if you've avoided step 1 of this video and not read the manual, then you will have missed that one. Basically, ShotScope advise that we take 2 or 3 practice swings before we play each shot. This gives us enough time for the watch to do its thing, to calculate where we are and to make sure that it tracks your shot. Somebody like myself, you might be maybe not taking any practice swings. What I tend to do is I tend to wait at my ball. I then either make sure that the tag has touched the strap or is close by and has registered on the screen that it has connected to the tag, and I'll then play my shot and I'll check again just after. That's because I'm not used to taking practice swings and I don't really want to build them into my pre-shot routine. If you're someone that's not too fussy like me, then make sure you give yourself enough practice swings. Certainly the way the technology works and what ShotScope recommend is, for new users, the watch has to learn and get ready and set up with regards to how many shots you take and practice shots and practice swings. So make sure before you play your shot that you are taking the practice swings, especially in the early days of using the ShotScope V3, and that will give you as best a chance as possible of having your shots tracked accurately and correctly. Okay, so number 9 actually goes hand in hand with number 8. After you have played your shot, make sure you check that the shot has been registered on the watch. It's very helpful. You're able to see which tag has been last used on the watch. So after you've played your shot, just glance down and make sure that it has the correct tag for the club that you have just used. If it doesn't have it, then what I tend to do is just to take the club and touch it onto the strap until it does display, and in that way I know that at least it has tracked the shot. But for me personally, I don't really find I have to do that very often. It's definitely an infrequent thing that usually it will just pick up the shot for me, no problem. But if it doesn't, then as I said, just a quick tap, but always make sure you check the watch to make sure that it has actually tracked the shot. Okay, and the final tip for new users of the ShotScope V3 is to review and repeat. So when you finish your round, review the stats, make sure that everything has been tracked. If you've noticed any shots missing, then of course you can add them in manually. And if you're not sure how to edit your round, please check out the video using the card link above or the description below, where I've created a screencast video showing you how to edit your round using the desktop version of the tool, or the web version. Now, after your round, once you've reviewed it, you then want to repeat the process. So make sure you go back out, play another round or another couple of rounds, ensure that you're taking those practice swings, ensure you're following the steps in this video and in the guidance that ShotScope issue, and then have a look at how many shots are being tracked. If you're still having problems after several rounds, then you'll want to contact ShotScope directly to make sure that they can give you some assistance. But generally speaking, after a few rounds, any missed shots begin to get picked up, so you'll notice a difference if you're regularly reviewing and repeating the process. Now, this video is meant to only give you 10 tips. I'm going to give you an extra 11th tip, which could be really useful. On Facebook, there is a ShotScope support group, or a forum. There's thousands of people who are ShotScope members who are using this forum, and it's a great place to share any ideas, any concerns, anything that's maybe not working, any things that are working really well. So have a look at the ShotScope Facebook group, I'll link it below, and it's definitely worth following if you're wanting to interact with other ShotScope users. Everybody's really friendly, there's lots of good advice, and ShotScope themselves actually monitor that group, so they can provide assistance either through the group or they'll tell you where to go for further assistance. Anyway, I hope you find this video useful. I hope that your experience with the ShotScope V3 is as positive as mine has been. Make sure you contact ShotScope if there are any proper issues, and I'm sure they'll get back to you as soon as possible. Please do give this video a like if you've enjoyed it, if you found it useful, and comment below. Is there any tips that I've not given you in this video that you think would be useful based on your experience so far? Or if there's anything you want to discuss with the V3, please do comment below. But thanks for watching, and please do remember to subscribe and check out any of the other videos on my channel.